Ink Ribbon.
If you've played Grand Theft Auto, there's a good chance that at some point you decided that instead of shooting people and causing chaos, you're gonna go for a casual walk.
You nagged me, asshole!
I bite back, darling.
What are you doing, bro?
Or get in a car and listen to tunes while driving at a reasonable speed and obeying traffic laws.
If I get mad, you'll be old, man. Look at this stupid local government.
Or maybe in Shenmue, instead of progressing the story, you just walked around and looked at the environments and took in the vibe of Japan in the 80s. Or perhaps you decided to create a lavish mansion for your Sims and give them infinite money, no need decay, and just watch them live the life of their dreams. For years there have been gamers playing games in unconventional ways, using games for one of their most intended purposes, to escape reality. But over time this method of playing has slowly evolved into its own genre without anyone really noticing. Just like there are genres like action, horror, or strategy, I'd say it's safe to say there's a new genre called relaxing. I know that last bit was redundant because you read the title of this, but I wanted to mention it because I still don't know if this is an entire genre or just a feature of some kind. After desperately searching so many online stores for certain games, I started realizing that a lot of games should be marked as relaxing, but they aren't, which is a bummer. The same way people enjoy a cold glass of whiskey or a luxurious bubble bath. I just want to play a nice, relaxing game to melt away my stress. And I know that it sounds like I'm ranting, but I guarantee there's at least one game in this category that you've enjoyed. And I'm not talking about the obvious ones. Of course, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, and games like those are relaxing, but I'm talking about other games. Games like Persona, for example, where you get to hang out with friends and go through all the mundane tasks of life, but skip over all the most tedious things. Or even a game like Assassin's Creed. A long time ago I found the most wholesome post on Reddit where someone had shown their elderly grandparents the canals in Venice, within Assassin's Creed 2, and they spent hours taking turns just riding the gondolas around. There's also the case of Audrey, the 89-year-old grandmother who has logged over 3,500 hours into Animal Crossing. Similarly is the YouTuber Food for Dogs, who does unboxing and reviews of Vita games, primarily focused on relaxing RPGs like the Atelier series. Highly recommend her channel if you're into Vita stuff, by the way. And if you think this is a special niche for old people, it applies to younger players as well. Even you.
We would like to play.
I want you to think about when you were a kid and the first time you played a game where you could directly control a character, and think about how fun it was just to run around a level and explore. Kids don't care about objectives and game mechanics, they just want to have fun and run around. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Not everyone is good at video games, and unfortunately that can put a lot of people off of video games entirely. Now let me take this opportunity to tell you about some really amazing games that are at the top of my list of best games to relax to. Now if it were up to me, the game you would be seeing now would be my number one choice. A game called Boku no Natsuyasumi. But unfortunately, this was never localized, so unless you speak Japanese, it's pretty difficult to get into. However, the good news is the developers released a sort of spiritual successor that was translated, a game called Attack of the Friday Monsters. It's basically the same gameplay and vibe, copied verbatim, but with a cool Power Rangers Godzilla thing going on in the background. And while we're on the topic of Japanese exclusive handhelds, I have to mention a little known Japanese PSP game called Portable Island, with the idea that you are carrying an island vacation around in your pocket. You can hang out at the beach, take pictures, climb rocks, collect coconuts, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And one of the coolest things ever is the ability to flip your PSP around and turn it into a functioning ukulele. There's also the highly misunderstood Dead or Alive Extreme games, which not only offers, well, the obvious, but also features a beautiful island resort and has some of the best music I've ever heard in a game. Also, if you have a VR headset that offers it, I highly recommend a game called Ocean Rift, where you can just swim around with all sorts of aquatic creatures. Sometimes I just lay down and pretend I'm floating in the ocean because I'm a very weird person sometimes. If any of this appeals to you, I'll make you a deal. Click the like button and I'll do a quick list of some more relaxing games worth trying. Ready? Tulip, a game where you have to kiss literally everyone. Diver's Dream, also called Dolphin's Dream, a PS1 diving simulator. Survival Kids, a Game Boy game that was possibly the first survival crafting game ever made. Katamari Damacy, literally play it for 2 minutes and you'll see how it's basically a really fun way to sort of meditate. Pokemon Snap, take pictures of Pokemon while riding on a rail. Life is Strange, a story-rich game with calm music and a very sweet main character.
Hey, Hayden.
Pretty much any visual novel that appeals to you. I personally recommend Virtue's Last Reward. Just know that visual novels are less like a game and sometimes more like a book or a movie. And if you're into RPG Maker games, there is a treasure trove of them as well, usually for cheap or even free, like the game To the Moon. Now, I know everyone is different, and for a lot of you this type of gameplay does not appeal to you in any way, and that's totally okay. Video games are one of the most diverse mediums out there with something for everyone. So if you'd rather be destroying people online in Tekken or taking the #1 spot in Fortnite, that's totally fine too. But for some of us, just planting our little crops and relaxing in a virtual hot spring is good enough. If there are any other games in this genre, please let me know in the comments because I'd love to check them out and I'm sure I'm not the only one. For more gaming content, I invite you to check out my other videos and subscribe if you enjoy them. Until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon. And a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Your extra support means the world to me and helps me keep making content for you guys.